It began with a bold vision to build KL Metropolis, a development that would establish a new international trade and exhibition district in Malaysia, built in partnership with the government by Naza Group's property arm, Naza TTDI. The crown jewel of this grand vision is the Malaysia International Trade and Exhibition Centre, the preferred international destination for exhibitions and events. Like the fine gold and silver threads of the Songket weave that inspired its facade design, MyTech is the embodiment of refined craftsmanship, creativity, and precision. As Malaysia's largest exhibition centre, MyTech's functional spaces are unprecedented. Primed for exceptional displays, surrounded by state-of-the-art facilities and amenities. This iconic structure affirms a commitment to innovative excellence. It is a showpiece of engineering ingenuity. An enduring icon built for a new Malaysian era of success.
The world is a forest, in which all lose their way. Through different paths we go astray. Walking our way against the stream of life, stumbling upon unexpected shards of struggle. Our future may seem carved in stone, but our heart knows the truth. They say the best way to see life is through the eyes of a child. How can I understand you if I have not gone through the life you have lived? Can you understand me if you have not visited my world? One should be acknowledged by their determination, not by the color of their skin. Do not compare yourself with others. Compare yourself with who you were before. When I falter, I should hope that a helping hand will lift me up. For some people, acceptance is not a given. Their freedom of choice is denied. Yet, like millions of butterflies swarming the lake, their lives matter too. Hear the pain in silence, even when it's unspoken. One can get trapped in a box that's too small to breathe in. I shall overcome and
Okay, I was just stirring. Hello and welcome wherever you're watching from. I'm not going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening because I don't know what time, wherever you are. My name is Frida Liu, and I'm really honored to be hosting and moderating this session. I'm in the company of amazing women. I'll just do a very quick introduction, and of course, in the journey of our conversation, you'll get to know a little bit more about them. And also, feel free to ask questions. We'll address them as we go along. So, here I have with me Sharifah Shawati Syed Muhammad, image motivational coach, author, and fashionpreneur. We have Paloma Yusuf, also known as Shamma, who is a communication specialist, photographer, digital marketer, and coach. And we have on the other end there, Andrea Grill, supply chain transformation catalyst, executive coach, and resilience trainer. So welcome, ladies. It's going to be the most exciting 45 minutes of your life.
Thank you
All
for
right,
having us.
we're gonna have a conversation. I want to talk a little bit about their journey, going down memory lane, and this whole topic today, this empowered self reflection, right? What does that mean to each and every one of them? And is it a conversation that only women are having? I'm gonna ask you first,
Yeah.
Shawati.
Thank you, Frida. Us.
Ask. So, when take me down memory lane, when did you feel empowered? When was a
Empowered.
moment when you would you know that moment you
Yeah.
got it?
There were many instances during my childhood because I was coming from a place where I was born in Terengganu, and it's not really that urban, and no one spoke in English, and I couldn't utter a word in English. And then my family moved to Kuala Lumpur in Serdang, And then I was put into a convent school, and everyone else was speaking in English. I couldn't utter a word in English, and I felt so isolated. And I was living, also to make it worse, I was living with my cousins who came back from Australia, and they were all speaking in English. And I thought, wow, I mean, I felt so bad. I felt so inadequate. And I said, this is not going to be it. I'm not going to be isolated. I don't want to feel this way. I have to do something. And one night, I've always wanted to ride a bike, and I see them riding a bike every time without me. And one night, I sneaked out of the house while they were sleeping. I took the bike and tried to ride the bike. I fell and fell. I don't know how many times I fell. And the fourth day, I could ride the bike, but I had scars all over, and I still have the scar on my knee. But I felt empowered.
Okay.
I felt empowered because I could do something. I could do what they did
Right.
without even anyone helping me. And that's when I told myself, yes, if I say I can do this, I can do it.
And you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do, because the most important thing is the word that you tell yourself, the word that you say, yes, you can do it. And this will actually prompt you to even go further than what you think you are. And you more than that. You feel that you are more than that, and you actually get yourself to do it.
So this
Yeah.
was a moment in your childhood, that belief that has taken you in your career over the
Yes,
years.
yes, over
Right.
the years, yeah. Because I think it's very empowering for me, because I was timid at that time. I was timid. I'm not the person I am now,
Right.
but it's a journey and the process. I was committed to it to make myself better each and every day, because I wanted to.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And your story.
Very inspiring story from Shawati. And
Actually, yeah.
she said one word that resonated, which is inadequate.
Inadequate, yeah.
For most of my life, that's how I felt. It's another word for disempowered.
Mhm.
I only felt empowered when I moved to Malaysia.
Okay.
For most of my childhood, I was in my country,
Yeah.
and I had selective mutism. If you know what that is, it means I I spoke at school and I couldn't speak at home
Yeah.
because home was a very abusive environment. It wasn't safe.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, I can't shut up. So I want
Making up for
to
lost time.
making up for lost time. So I
Yeah.
want to tell people out there, it's possible to heal.
Right.
So when did I feel empowered is when I started photography. Photography gave me a voice. At first, I thought I was giving a voice to the animals because I was a wildlife photographer. I still am for many years. But in doing that, I found my voice.
Right.
I saw that I have talent. I'm capable. Uh, I'm able to advocate for them. So I do have a voice.
Yeah.
Until today, I still advocate for animals. I speak on stage. I write about them.
You found yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I found my empowerment through creativity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Right.
like that.
Lovely.
Okay. Empowerment through creativity. Your story, Andrea.
My story is somewhat similar. So I also felt really empowered after we moved here, but because my life from from my very childhood until then, it was paved by my parents, and one step just followed the other. I wasn't really thinking and making deliberate choices for myself. I wasn't thinking about what I want to do. I was told what's going to be best for me, and actually I was quite okay
Right.
with what I was doing, with how I was doing. So no complaints about that. And everyone who guided me through that way had really my best interest in mind. And when we came here, when we moved here, life had different challenges for me than I signed up for with the move. And I found myself in a situation where I just couldn't continue on the path that I've started. And I had to make choices for myself first time. And when you are found yourself in a situation 30 something that you are really first time deciding for yourself, it honestly can be really scary. So it didn't feel as empowerment first, but I had to reframe that situation. And instead of focusing on what I cannot do, what I had in mind when we came, I had to focus on what is it, what I can do, what is it, what actually I want for myself, and how do I make it happen.
Right.
So, and this also happened here
Right.
in beautiful Malaysia. I'm really
Okay.
grateful for that. It's not every moment has been easy,
Right.
but it's been definitely the biggest personal growth I've been
Right.
through.
Malaysia Boleh.
Right.
Malaysia
Malaysia.
Boleh.
um
Anything can happen.
yeah, so interesting you talk about reframe, and like we have to reframe to that point where instead of what can't I do, what can I do. I think
Mhm.
that's important.
Yeah.
um
Right.
Childhood as well, like your parents would guide you in a certain way, and I was very fortunate in the sense that my parents gave me a lot of liberty
Yeah.
in whatever I wanted to do, and I never grew up very strange
Yeah.
with what a boy can do, what a girl can do. So I never had those limiting beliefs placed on me, and that really makes a lot of difference as well. I think as we
Yeah.
raise our children, the words that we say to them.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit, Shawati, your story. So you've been in TV. We used
Yes.
to work together.
I love it.
Okay, for a while, you've been the airlines. You've written to books. You got an image consultancy, and of course, your clothing brand, Adamaya, which is I know son and daughter. I know the story.
Merged together.
What did you see people having lack of confidence when it comes to their image, right?
Yeah.
And why do you think this is so? And how do you advise them, you know, and through the power of
Yeah.
image?
Actually, I'm an image motivational coach,
Okay.
and I also wrote a book about how do you dress, how do you carry yourself, how do you speak, and how do you actually learn about gestures and face expressions. So, on your question, saying that some people are very, are facing a low self-esteem problem, it's because maybe from the childhood days where you mentioned it, it's about limiting beliefs.
Right.
This is part of the process where people instilled all these limited beliefs in them when they were in the childhood, and then it brought further when they were already adults in their working environment.
Right.
Just for example, when your mom says that, "Oh, you're stupid," you know,
Mm.
and that word is
Mm.
in your mind
Mm.
until you grow up, and
Right.
you keep thinking that it's true, and you keep believing that it's true even though you know that it's not true. So these are the things that make someone feels inadequate and lack of confidence and lack of self-esteem because they feel that. But how do you overcome these limited beliefs? Is by saying to yourself, you have to fight it, you have to confront this limited belief and trying to go against it, opposite. Do not let others define you in that way, and do not allow them to say these things to you. Tell yourself, ask yourself this question: how would you feel if you had not have that thought?
Right.
Okay, what would you do if you didn't have that thought?
Right.
So turn it around
Right.
and see if you can find a different kind of feeling after you've done that. And I'm sure I can reassure to you that you will feel more empowered and you will feel more energized because you find these ways to say, hey, I'm not going to succumb to these limited beliefs. I am more than this, and I'm going to do what's right and what's better for me. I'm not going to live in the past, I'm going to live in the present
Right.
to work on me being better version of myself. Yeah.
Okay, so what you do as an image motivational coach as well, right? There's a lot of like even dressing well
Yeah.
builds their confidence,
Right.
but you do have to work on the inside first, right?
You do have to work on the
But
inside.
working on the outside, that also
Yeah.
helps, right? I mean, not
Yes.
fake it till you make it, but in a way that also helps build your
Yes.
confidence.
I would go with the mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. You don't just concentrating on the surface of it,
Mhm.
but you also have to think about what's within. So when you concentrate on the mind, is what you think, what you put in your mind, what you nurture in your mind, and that's positive thinking. And what about the body? What you eat?
Mm.
You must take care of your health, the health of the mind, the health of the body, your
Exercise.
physicality, yeah, and then your spirituality, your soul. You might have a good mind and a good body, but your soul is suffering, and it also can actually affect your whole well-being. So these three things, the mind, body, and soul, you need to actually take care of these three things.
Right.
So that's why lack of enthusiasm, lack of energy, lack of confidence comes from all these positivities that you need to have. So the seven sources of power, I call it. your image,
Okay.
which is your appearance,
Okay.
your communication skills, right? And then your spirituality,
Right.
all right? And then you have your knowledge, okay? And your talents, okay? Your talents and your what do you call that? Your
Gifts.
your attributes.
Okay.
All right. And then you have this what do you call that? Uh, talents of extra things that you need to have,
Right.
because it doesn't mean that when you do certain things you only have to know certain things. You must value add.
Okay.
You have to value add
Right.
whatever that you are doing, so that you can actually always have all this value
USP.
added. Yes, that's right.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Now, okay. So, for you, you are a senior analyst in international organization. So outside this, you freelance in your photography. I've seen your pictures; they're amazing. I've seen the picture of the tiger. I remember that.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, how does having and you mentioned it briefly, right? Having another outlet, that creativity, how does that empower you? And I also know you have Zorra Designs, which is a
Yes.
whole concept with journaling.
Yeah.
How do all these things beyond work empower you?
Well, since I was very little, I was obsessed with animals.
Okay.
Animals to me make more sense than people. And for the longest time, I didn't have human friends. I was seeking out animals to photograph them. Why? Because I saw myself in them.
Right.
Because they couldn't speak. At one point, I couldn't speak. And they are in danger. And at one point, I needed help.
Mm.
So, in doing that, in having that emotional connection with animals, it kind of brought me validation and healing. And what else did you ask me?
Oh, how like with all the, even with journaling, right? How does that help
Right,
you?
right. The journaling came when, like Shawati mentioned, I wanted to take care of my soul.
Right.
So what I was doing is healing my inner child
Right.
through journaling.
Right.
I was writing to my inner child to kind of right the wrongs,
Mhm.
as in righting the wrongs, to acknowledge that this happened to you, it wasn't right, and we are better now.
Mm.
And there is this method called Ho'oponopono. Have you
Mhm.
heard of it?
Mhm.
It's an ancient Hawaiian practice.
Right.
It's when you say to your inner self, I'm sorry that it happened. Forgive me for whatever part I had in it, taking responsibility.
Right.
Sometimes we do the wrong thing, saying thank you to whoever helped you, or saying thank you to yourself for surviving. And the last one, I struggled with it so much.
Forgive you.
It's I love you.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. At first, I was saying I appreciate you,
Yeah.
Okay.
and after a year, now I can say I love you.
Wow.
Now I can write it down.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
is my method of healing my inner child and my younger self.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so important, right? There's so many ways of empowering yourself, and whether it's through writing, whether it's through photography, whether
Yeah.
it's singing, what have you, right? There are ways that you can empower yourselves.
Yeah.
So Andrea, now that you're in Malaysia, but you're originally from Hungary, and you have lived in 7 countries and 3 continents, how has this impacted your map of the world, right? And empowered you?
It opened the world for me. So growing up in Hungary, I had a very limited view on the world. How what all I've seen was my family and friends, how they lived. And when we started to travel, so first I moved as a child to Cuba, also as a teenager to Switzerland, and then later I had quicker moves from UK, Amsterdam, Latvia, and now Malaysia.
Wow.
I've seen so many ways people can live their lives. So I learned that there is not only one way, there is not a wrong or a right. So it gave me an entire toolkit I could choose from. How do I want to live my life?
Right.
And I think it's really empowering to know that just the fact that you don't do things the same way everyone else around you does, that doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
That it means that it's you and it's what works best for you. And it gave me also an enormous adaptability, also curiosity,
Mm.
because you just want to know more about the country where you live, about the people, about the food, about the nature, about everything. So I think it's really opened up the world for me. And I would like my children to have the same openness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It just, I was just sharing with Andrea earlier on. I mean, just having grown up in and lived in a couple of cities as well. I think I remember at 14 when I had to leave the country I was born. I was born in Brunei. I had to come to Sarawak. I felt my life torn apart because, the country that I was born in, that was my identity. But from that experience, I think I learned adaptability, and I
Yeah.
learned to accommodate. I learned to understand people better, and it's a reframe. Like, even at that age, she didn't realize that that was a reframe. This is it. What's the best you can make, you
Yeah.
can do out of
Make the
it, right?
best out of the situation
Situation.
that you're in.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't the end of the world, you know what I mean? But at 14, that felt like the end of the world
Yeah.
because that was all I had. Shawati, you embrace this hashtag. I know.
Yeah.
I am enough.
Yeah.
Okay. What led you to this?
Okay, because I feel, especially during the lockdown, I could feel it myself. During those 6 months of the lockdown of the pandemic situation that we are in, we're still in
In
this, but it's getting better now, I hope. But during that, it was more on a gratitude that I felt that I didn't have before.
Right.
Like, you couldn't even go to the grocery store, and I can't even do what I've been doing all this while.
Right.
And I can imagine those people out there who's gone through the worst.
Right.
And I feel that a lot of people are going through this, and they're feeling inadequate, and also they're feeling they're not enough.
Right.
I'm sure. Not enough because of they couldn't do the things they did, and not enough because they feel that no one wants them anymore. No one wants to take them to work anymore. So hashtag I'm not enough is not to say that you you are already enough in everything. No. I mean, I am enough is to tell yourself that you accept yourself as you are. You've gone through these years doing what you did, and you've achieved so many achievements.
Right.
It could be a minor
Right.
achievement, but it is a very big achievement for you.
Mm.
So you are enough. You have to tell yourself that. And you can't just put that aside and say that you're not enough just because of this situation. So the art of acceptance is very important. And like you said, adaptability, acceptance. You have to learn to know the art of acceptance. When you learn to accept, then you'll be able to adjust yourself in many situations, and you think that is going to give you a bad situation. No, you can live, you can survive because you are enough. You have to accept yourself that you have everything, all the ingredients in you to make it better and
Right.
to move on with your life.
Right.
Yeah.
You have all the ingredients, and you can always get extra herbs as well, along the way.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, do put them across, and we'll address them. We'll get the panelists to address them as well. So I'm enough. You are involved in this program called hashtag I'm Remarkable, right? You're a
Yes.
facilitator there. What's this program about?
Hashtag I am
I'm
remarkable. It's actually very adjacent to hashtag I am enough.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If you see a person being very arrogant,
Mm.
do you go, oh my gosh, I love that attitude? No, right? But when you see somebody accomplished being humble,
Right.
you will go, oh, I love that quality.
Right.
So being humble is a good thing, right?
Right.
We tend to think that the opposite of arrogant is humble,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
But actually, the opposite of arrogant is invisible.
Hmm.
Is it?
So,
Why?
Oh, okay.
Why
Okay.
is it the opposite?
Explain
Yeah.
Yeah,
yourself.
can you explain?
Explain.
It's not that obvious.
yeah. So, especially here in Asia,
Mhm.
being humble is such a good quality to aspire to. We are humble to a fault,
Right.
especially in the workplace
Mm.
and especially for women.
Mm.
We are not encouraged to say out loud the things that we have accomplished,
Mm.
even though we've already done it,
Okay.
because it's considered arrogant.
Okay. Right. So I think people always confidence and arrogance. There's
Yes.
that fine line,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And sometimes you're confident. It doesn't mean that you're arrogant.
Yes.
But maybe people don't know where to draw that line, right?
Yes.
So okay. And so what do you do with this program as a facilitator? What do you
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
So as a facilitator, I will teach my participants
Mm.
to safely say what are they remarkable at,
Right.
because in daily life they don't have that safe
Mm.
space. Because at the workplace, people might call them, what's the word, sombong,
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Arrogant.
arrogant.
Okay.
Arrogant.
There's a double standard for women. When they see a confident woman, they don't see the confidence, they see the arrogance.
Mm.
So I want to change that narrative.
Right.
Let's change it. So in the sessions, I encourage them to look at even their smallest accomplishment.
Right.
Yeah. Give credit to yourself.
Give
Right.
credit to yourself
Mhm.
and make it visible.
Mm.
And it translates into, once you're confident with owning your accomplishments, you can ask for that promotion.
Right.
You can go for that better job.
Yeah.
You can ask for better treatment. You can stand up to the bullies.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the effects just cascade, and it makes you just a well-rounded human being.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things I always say that if what I do doesn't affect someone else's rice bowl, right?
Yep.
I don't affect anybody else. There are no
Then you're all right.
negative repercussions to other people's life. Then
Correct.
then speak up. If you've
Yeah.
accomplished, bring it up, right? I mean, there's
Yes.
nothing to be embarrassed about,
Yeah.
and I get it, right? If you don't speak up for yourself, nobody else will. So
Exactly.
if you have done, by all means, right? Talk
Yeah.
about it.
So
And
there's
there's
one
also the
thing,
fear, I think. It's the
is
fear of
fear.
speaking up. There's
Right.
so
Yeah.
many fears. I mean, you can talk about fear in any forms. It different people have different fears.
Right.
Mm.
People fear in public speaking. People fear in traveling on the plane.
Mm.
So we have different fears. But the best is to confront the fear
Yeah. Fear of
and
judgment.
fear of judgment,
Yeah.
because fear is what you call it. There's a short form for fear. Do you remember that?
False evidence appearing
Yes,
real.
Yeah.
false evidence
Right.
Yeah.
appearing real. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I always hear is, your work should speak for itself. And from research, it shows that no, it doesn't.
Okay.
Especially when you're a woman, it
Right.
will always be questioned. Your credibility is less than a man. I'm not saying it. The research from
Okay.
I Am Remarkable says it.
Right.
So you need to be your own cheerleader.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree.
There is a book that I would highly recommend. It's called Playing Big by Tara Moore. And one of the things that she wrote in that book, and she's an American woman, right? And it's such a, when you read it and you just realize it's such a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just in America, it applies in
Mhm.
Asia. One of which is called the good girl syndrome. The good girl syndrome,
Yes.
when you're in school and you get an A plus and you get this recognition from your teacher that says, well done, Andrea, well done, Shawati, A plus. When you're in the workplace, you're expecting the A plus.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. So
Yeah.
until you tell your supervisor that I am A plus,
Yeah.
no one else will. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah, and I can relate to what you were saying, because I'm coming from a supply chain background, which is a really male-dominated
Right.
field.
Right.
So as a woman, and especially when I joined, I was 20 something. So as a young woman in a field where there are
Male, no men.
dominated by men, you really need to be able to stand up and speak up for yourself, and first to overcome that fear that your unique position in the meeting room or in the arena gives
Yeah.
you.
Right.
And I think it's not an easy thing to do first,
Yeah.
but we can get better and better at it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the best thing to say to yourself is, what is the worst that could happen to me
Mm.
if I do this?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
Then go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you will realize that they
Yeah.
see you as a partner.
Right.
If you speak up, if you are really contributing and sharing relevant ideas,
Yes.
they really start to see you as a partner, and they will welcome you also to participate. But I think it's up to us to make those first steps.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
true.
also in that book, not in that book, I had an interview with this organization called Catalyst.org. Women have no issues finding mentors in the workplace,
Mhm.
but they don't find sponsors,
Yeah.
right? Sponsors to
Right.
say that I want this job, and can you help me as I move up the career ladder?
Right.
So women don't lack mentors, which are great,
Mm.
but they need to look up for sponsors, and it works both ways as well, right? The organization can look out for you, but you also have to speak up and say, I want that job.
Yeah.
Right? Tell your boss, I want your job.
Yes.
Um,
Mm.
You have
okay.
to do what you believe.
Yeah.
And if you feel that you're good enough, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
It's you, yourself and yourself. Me, myself, and I.
Yes.
Because you are remarkable.
You're
I
remarkable.
am
You are enough.
enough. Ah,
Oh, ladies, I
hashtag,
don't have a.
hashtag. Okay.
I feel like I have to, after this session, I have to go and embrace a hashtag myself that I can.
That's great, right?
You've got
So
your
you
hashtag,
participate.
Andrea. Your work in supply chain logistics, and now you're also a trainer and coach on resilience, right?
Yes.
So, and this is a question: are some people just innately more resilient than others, right? And if you're not, what can you do to be more resilient?
I think we have all natural tendencies, which are very different, and they are either more or less resilient. So what I found, and what also research has found, that resilience is not personal characteristic or a trait that you are born with. This is something that you can learn and develop.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
all about, doing the
Yes.
work, what we've talked
Yeah.
before, and you can really become more resilient over time. Of course, there are people who were raised and were taught these techniques early on. They model their parents who were more resilient. They've seen really good role models, and they picked up, or maybe they just intuitively felt what is the right thing to do for them. Unfortunately, I was not one of them, so I had to research it and learn the techniques that worked for me. And I'm really passionate to share it with other people who are going through tough situations, or they just simply want to go and reach their goals and go after their crazy dreams, because there are so many obstacles along the way. So you also need to be resilient to be able to do that. It's not only about
Right.
about the tough times and the obstacles.
Yeah.
Hashtag I am resilient.
We
I
found the
think,
hashtag.
Frida, the sense of gratitude is also important,
Yeah.
because then if you don't have gratitude, you will be comparing yourself to others, and this is where you stress yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I know I had a question which I didn't have a chance to read. So if the question could come back again.
Can I?
Okay. I find that one of the things for me though, being resilient has been about reading and looking at reference and reading books and songs. I get knocked down, but I get up again, right? So the question that we have here: how do we know that we really need to change and empower ourselves? Ah, who would like to take this?
Well, I think it's about change.
Right.
It's where you are in your life,
Mm.
where you feel, is this it?
Right.
Or am I capable of doing more?
Mm.
Am I capable of having more? And am I ready to have more? So that's where change needs to happen.
Right.
And the change comes from you. You are not able to see the change if you expect others to change or situation to change. The change comes from you to start with. So I feel that in order for you to empower others, you have to learn how to manage yourself first. In order for you to empower others, you have to be complete first. You have to be the master of yourself first. Then when you are able to master your thoughts and your well-being, this comes together as a whole. Then you're able to understand others, what they're thinking, what they're doing, and if they don't do the things that you like, you're able to accept what is. Accepting what is when you learn how to just take it as it is, and it's not good, it's not bad, or it's not wrong, but it's just what it is, and you're able to go on with your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to add to that?
Right. For me, I ask myself three questions. Am I fulfilled? Am I making the most of my potential? And am I contributing to the greater good?
Great questions.
Yeah.
If I'm reaching these three, that is empowerment. I'm an empowered person if I'm achieving these three goals.
Yeah, you have to make
Yeah.
yourself full first in order for you
Yes.
to share with others.
Yes.
And if you have a positive answer to all those three, you
Yeah.
don't need to really
Yeah.
change. But
Yes.
even if you feel that you are lacking even a little bit, that you could do more, that you could
Right.
reach for more, I
Yeah.
think then there is a room for improvement, for growth, to really start to change, and just to take the step forward to reach that.
Yeah. And it's okay to
yeah.
be full of yourself. It's okay. You
Yeah.
need to be full.
Who else would you be full of?
No.
So
Better be full of yourself in a good way, right?
Yeah.
And so just my perspective of this as well. You know that feeling when you say how when you need to empower yourself, when there's something that you feel that can I be more? Can I do more? Right? And doesn't mean that you have to come from a trouble spot. You want to enlarge your tent.
Yeah.
You want to be more creative.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do every year is the wheel of life.
Yeah.
Right? I look at
Mm.
my friends. How are my friendships? Right? The
Right.
people that I want to continue having in my life.
Yeah.
I look at my fitness level. I look at my finances. So I look at these things individually, and look at areas that I can improve, right? And that's when you feel empowered that let me improve a little bit, and in small little steps. From now, actually, until the end of the year, the simple things. I said, regardless, rain or shine,
Yeah.
even if I've done my exercise, I will put an additional 5 kilometers to walk
Yeah.
every day, right? And just like until it's 90 days before,
Yeah.
today is 90 days before
Yeah.
2021. I was just like, okay, I wonder what the difference will be in 90 days. I want
Yeah.
to start 2021 a little bit more healthy.
Really?
Yeah.
90 days?
And
Yep, it's
Wow.
90 days for 2021.
90 days is not long. It's very, very fast.
Very fast, right?
And you have to be committed to the process
Yes,
of
right.
Yeah.
getting
So
there.
I've declared it. Everyone can check on me whether I'm doing it. So yes, thank you for that question
Yeah.
earlier on. If you have any more questions for this amazing women, okay. Now,
I just would like to add that the only way to change and to have a lasting change, if you really embrace the process and you enjoy every step on the way,
Yeah.
and if you just look to accomplish something, and if you only reward yourself and um, just say yourself you've done a good job, when you reach there you are not going to be able to go all the way and to reach your full potential. So you really need to focus on what you are doing and enjoy what you are doing, and to reward yourself at the end of the day, or at the end of the 5 kilometers.
Yes.
And that's how you actually motivate yourself and keep going to
Right.
become the
That's
best
very
and
important
fittest
to reward yourself. Yes.
version of yourself. You shouldn't wait until you accomplish something huge. You really should reward yourself. Small rewards, not big ones,
yeah,
along the way. Every step should be a step forward, and it
Yeah.
should be appreciated.
Yeah.
Mm.
But there might be
I would also
questions,
say appreciate yourself for how far you've come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look back, and 5 years ago, I was so insecure. I was a wallflower. I, I wasn't the person I was today. So I need to acknowledge that and say thank you to my inner self for overcoming all those challenges.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And because of that, I peed in my pants in school because I couldn't speak English.
Oh gosh.
But right now, if you give me the mic, I can't stop talking. Yeah.
See how far you've come.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I stood up for myself when I was being bullied. For some reason, I couldn't speak English. I stood up and say, "Hey, I don't care. I don't care what you think. I'm learning. This is my way of learning, and whether you accept it or you just get out of my way."
Right.
Yeah. So you can tell yourself that.
And earlier today, you got wonderful compliments on your English from
Oh,
a
it
gentleman.
goes well with the trainings and also the practice. The practice makes permanent.
Yeah.
Yes.
good practice.
Good
Good
practice.
practice. Because you don't want bad practice making permanent.
Yes, that's
So you look in
right.
the mirror and you say, "You go, girl."
Yeah.
You look in the
Yeah.
mirror and say,
When you wake up in the morning, right? This is what I do. The first thing I wake up in the morning is to look at myself and say, "Hey, you're beautiful, and this day you're going to be doing a lot of things that's going to benefit you, and you're going to be succeeding the more than you should."
Okay.
So I tell myself that no
That's-
one's there to listen to you. I mean, come on. I mean, you tell this to yourself, not in a crowd where people think yourself.
But you are the most
sup-
important person who is
Yes.
listening to yourself. Yeah.
Okay, I should
Yeah.
start doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
We
does
have-
not matter. You're
yeah.
just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And the person that you need to challenge, that you need to challenge, right, is yourself in the mirror. The person in
Right.
the mirror is the person that you need to talk to every day, and remind yourself what you need to do.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I did? I wrote with lipstick on my mirror, "I am enough,"
Yeah.
so that I'm reminded every time I look at myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, this is a question for all these ladies, and this is a question I wonder, right? All of us seem to wear so many hats.
Yes.
Me included, right? We're this slash this slash this slash this, and I see this
Yeah.
more with women.
Yeah.
And the question is, is it about the fact that we have so many talents, or are we trying sometimes to prove that we are more than capable? Right? I don't see as many men going, "I'm this slash this slash this too." Right? And I'm saying this is a question I need some answers from. all of
Well,
you.
for me, I always challenge myself to do things that is that are different. I challenged myself whether I could write a book, and then I said maybe I should write a book, and it started with me writing a journal every day and me observing people on the streets. Like you're at the cafe and then you watch people on the streets, and I talk about human behavior, and I talk about grooming, I talk about positive image, and I write that. And suddenly it became a lot of pages and enough to put it into a book. That's how I got to
Right.
do to writing a book. Like two books, I wrote two books now.
Oh, can you show your second book? Because
Oh
I need
yes,
to read about the
thank you for
second book.
reminding me.
Very cute title.
Yes, this latest book of mine is called Smart Women, Foolish Choices. And we are all smart women, but mind you, we sometimes do foolish choices. Don't you agree? It may be in your career, it may be in your relationships, but this is more on relationships. Yeah.
Interesting. And yourself, like we wear so many hats. Your thoughts on that? Why do we wear so many hats? Is it a creative outlet? Is it something that we have to prove to ourselves? I'm just thinking because I'm really thinking about the next thing that I want to do. Um,
Right.
yeah,
For me, it's a combination of both.
right.
I want to prove to my younger self that we've come a long way and we are capable. So we can do all of this.
We
And
can.
also, I want to explore my creativity. Creative expression and growth is so important to my happiness.
Mm, mm,
And that happens to be exploring different things, being curious.
mm.
Yeah. What
Wonderful.
about you?
I just find it so exciting to try new things.
It's fun,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, it's fun and it gives you so much perspective and it really enriches your life experience.
Yeah.
If you would be repeating the same thing over and over again, I think that would be really limiting
Mm.
and you wouldn't really grow as a person.
Right.
And also, I mean, if I do always the same thing, in 2 months' time, you wouldn't want to talk to me anymore because I know everything about me already. But
Right.
trying new things, it's just so interesting. It's part of life. We are evolving. The life is changing around us. I think it's very normal to be interested in different things and to challenge ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I would add is making full use of the privilege that I have in this country, that I
Mm,
have access to all these wonderful things
mm.
that I wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a journal that you have come out. I,
Yes.
I I think it's really cute. I bought one. I have a lot of journals, a lot of empty ones as well. Because they're so pretty and I don't want to touch
Yeah.
it. But so this is under Zorra Designs
Yeah.
that you came up with this because you it was your own healing process or your own
Yes.
empowering process.
Journaling and writing to my inner child has helped me so much.
Right.
So I want to spread that message to others. So I created this with a friend.
Right.
This is the physical journal.
Mm.
It has a jasmine flower, so we call this the jasmine journal. So around this journal, I created a workshop that has 6 modules with all the methods that I use
Mm.
to journal for emotional well-being. So
Okay.
everything that I teach in that workshop is things that worked for me, that
Right.
made me who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to add a
Sure.
little bit more thing. To me, for whatever that you want to try doing in your life, just go ahead and do it, because you don't have to be successful in whatever that you're trying to do. But the most important thing is that you get down to doing it.
Right.
You have, in a way, you have value added yourself, and it's a value creation for yourself.
Okay.
So I think it's very important to just do whatever you believe is right and just do it. It does not matter.
And you
Right.
never know where you can use that
You never
experience
know where
later
it's
on
going to
in
land
life.
you.
Yeah.
And it creates opportunities for
Yeah,
you.
it does.
So I want to talk about
Yeah.
everybody's got books. I got to talk about my book as well.
Oh,
This was
yes.
something that I wrote last year. No, it came out last year. It's called In Your Skin, and the reason I wrote this book was that I actually featured women who define success on their own terms, right? People from Heidi Kwa, who works for the refugees, the Pit Stop Community Cafe. They work with, also with the what they call the homeless, right?
Yeah.
So it was important that I think like we get comfortable with our own success.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, this is a question. How do you stay empowered if others try to bring you down? Tell me.
Okay. Can
Okay, and we got 2 minutes.
Okay. Can I answer
Sure.
that?
Yes,
I mean,
please.
Go ahead.
you see, there are things you can control, There are things you cannot control. What you can control is what goes on within you. This is the bubble. This is the person you can control. What goes on here, what goes on here. But what goes on outside of this bubble, it's none of your business. It's their business.
Right.
So whatever they say to you, if it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't mean they're right.
Right.
You see, nothing is right until you allow yourself to say that that's right. If you don't think that's right, then you stick to whatever you believe in, and that is more important than what they say to you.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that. And I think that's a great question to end. So I like your opinion as well.
Right.
yeah.
When people try to disempower you, it says more about them than you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It means you have power and they try to take it away. So
Yeah.
be the bigger person. Keep growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their perception of you. It's
Right.
not who you are. So you
Right.
just be yourself and be secure in who you are and be the best version of yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. In other words, brush it off.
Okay. Is that the
Alright.
cue? One more minute. Oh, that's the cue for me to wrap it up. It's very okay. So
Already?
already, but I've got like 20 more questions. Thank you everyone for participating and asking questions. I really hope that you got something out of it. I definitely did. I'm very encouraged to be spending this Saturday
Likewise.
with
Good
these
to have you
amazing
as our
ladies.
moderator. You have so much to say as well in your book and all that.
Let me say thank you again to our panelists, Sharifah, Shawati, someone I've known since the last century. It's true.
Wow.
Paloma Yusuf and Andrea Grill. So thank you again and
Thank
for
you.
joining us. Bye.